Welcome to a guide on fighting void rifts as Tychus. A disclaimer, this is how I use Tychus on void rift mutations. I'm not a Tychus main, so other players who are better than I am may have different thought processes and strategies that are better than these. And if you want to use those, go ahead. I think that's perfectly fine. Also, you have to alter or change your strategies based on other mutators, especially ones that make the enemies stronger, such as Avenger. Prerequisites. This is for P2. If you're not using P2, he kind of sucks. You need to memorize the rift timings, at least for the first 15 minutes. Very important ones are 220 and 820. 820 because this is when you'll start seeing 4 rifts at a time. You need a good understanding of the map and where to go, and a good understanding of the attack waves and when they come. You also need to use control groups for each outlaw and know how to use shift click because this will help you in many situations. Things to keep in mind. The rifts spawn small units every 12 seconds, so it's 2 Zerglings, 1 Zealot, or 1 Marine. And they spawn 1 Roach, 1 Marauder, or 1 Zealot every 24 seconds in a custom map. They spawn a big wave after 30 seconds. This big wave gets stronger as time goes on. And if the rifts are not cleared, they will spawn every 90 seconds after. That means after the next rifts spawn 30 seconds later, all the rifts will spawn a big wave at the same time. Air units come after 10 minutes, hybrids and other strong units come after 20 minutes. The rifts don't spawn right next to enemies. They spawn nearby but not right next to them. So that means if you clear an area, future rifts will have a higher chance of spawning in the cleared area. So it's good for you to clear all the buildings and enemies in an area so that if a rift spawns there, you don't have to fight anything else. Tychus, the commander, can easily handle as many as 4 rifts that are left alone, assuming that enemies aren't buffed from mutators. After 8 minutes 20 seconds, you'll send each outlaw to the closest rift. Don't panic if one can't be reached immediately because, as I said earlier, Tychus can handle them. He's really strong. Don't leave the objective alone. So on ME, MO, or MW, you want to have one person at the objective to make sure it doesn't die. For Masteries, I use grenade cooldown. Sometimes I use outlaw availability, but not always. If you want, you can put 20 points so that you can have the 3rd outlaw available at 6 minutes. Some people like to put all 30 points so they can have someone available at 530 I mean. But I don't really think that's necessary, and you're gonna need to cut down on your SCV production if you expand. And I use 30 for Medivac cooldown because you want the mobility of the Medivacs. The first outlaw is Tychus. His role is to focus on the objective and the attack wave. None of his gear are that important except maybe getting grenade damage versus Terran or Protoss. In the mid game, he focuses on clearing the next area, and in the late game, he focuses on the objective and attack waves because most of the map should be cleared by that point. When he fights rifts, you just right-click the rift, and then you throw a grenade to deal extra damage and kill the trickles that are attacking Tychus. If you see that the timer is almost at 20 seconds or 50 seconds, which is about 30 seconds after the wave, after the rift has spawned, keep your grenade ready to blow all of them up. The second outlaw is usually Sirius. Sometimes people get Sam, but most of the time I will get Sirius. His role is early game base defense, especially at the natural on maps with contested expos such as Vermilion Problem or Part and Parcel. None of his gear are super important. You can get the fear gear if you have the resources later on. You want to get the turret explosion versus Zerg and anti-air rockets versus air. In the mid to late game, he holds the chokes or the areas along the path where the attack waves come from, and he defends the objectives. So on escort maps or minor evacuation, those kind of maps. When he fights rifts, he throws down 2 turrets and then he can move to another location. So this is really good in the early game because you can throw down 2 turrets, shift click, and just leave. And the turrets will kill everything and the rift. Another option is to throw down one turret and then right click the rift. So this is probably what you'll do if you're out of charges. So you throw down one turret and you just right click the rift, and the turret will just kill all the trickles plus damage the rift at the end. If a big wave is about to spawn, throw down 3 turrets and stick around to fight because there might be a lot of stuff. Third outlaw is usually Sam, because his role is to snipe all the far rifts since he has the super cloak gear. And you'll be using that a lot, so you want to get him by around 7 minutes to make your other outlaws stronger, and so that you can get ready for the 820 rifts. He's also good for attacking objectives that have a lot of HP, such as Void Shards, Void Thrashers, Mobius Hybrid. And you can get the double damage gear in those cases. For escort maps, you don't really need the double damage gear. When you fight rifts, you can throw a grenade and you run, like shift and just run away, don't even fight. Or you can use a Medivac out if he's in a dangerous area. If a big wave is about to spawn, you want to throw the grenade and then Medivac out so he doesn't get hurt. However, if you're at high HP, you can just keep fighting. You want to turn off the auto cast for super cloak so that you don't super cloak when you don't want to. So a lot of times I will press Z, then shift click the grenade and then run out so that I don't have to fight anything. The Medivac trick is where you can use super cloak, get closer, and then when super cloak runs out, you pick him up with the Medivac, you wait a few seconds, then you drop him in the same spot and then activate the super cloak again to get to even farther places. The fourth outlaw is Nux. His role is to defend the base. He basically takes over Sirius's place. Earlier on, Sirius will defend the natural, but later on when Nux comes out, he can defend the natural and Sirius can go out and focus on offense or the objective. None of his gear are important, so you get it later on if you have money. When he fights rifts, you just right click the rift, and then since he attacks really slowly, you just look back a little later and storm anyone who's fighting him. Nux tends to lose a lot of HP because he's not like a muscle, so you have to make sure he doesn't die. The fifth outlaw is Vega or Rattlesnake. I usually get Vega, but sometimes you can get Rattlesnake. And their role is just for late game base defense and clearing any rifts that are nearby. He controls a separate zone that's away from Nux. So basically, Nux and Vega will be in different parts of the map that are pretty much clear of any buildings, and their only job is to fight any rifts that show up there. For Vega, you can mind control units that are that spawn. So especially if they spawn like an immortal or a tank, you can just take them and they can help you fight the rifts. For Rattlesnake, you should drop a healing station and then you right click the rift. You want to kill the rift as soon as possible because you don't want air units to spawn. If an air unit spawns, then you want to get a nearby guy to like help you kill it, or you just pick up Rattlesnake with the Medivac, let the air unit go towards your base, and then drop him back. He doesn't need any gear, especially since he's a fifth outlaw, but having extra healing is good. So the early game build order, I start with a 16 eBay, 18 gas. And then around this time, the eBay will be done and you make auto turret. And then around this time, the refinery will be done and you put 3 on gas. Then at 21, you get the gunslinger's hideout and you get 2 SCVs to get ready to repair, because around this time, the enemies will start trickling towards your base. At 3 minutes, Tychus comes out, and then when he comes out, you head towards a rift and you kill it. Of course, you kill any enemies along the way. Then you get Sirius for 500, 100, and then if Tychus is near both rifts, then Sirius stays behind. If Sirius is closer to the other rift that's far away from the first one, then you send him in that direction. Make sure that your base is defended. But if you have your auto turrets, you can kind of leave your base alone because the early game stuff isn't that strong. After this, you get a second refinery, and then you spend the next 100 gas upgrading armor, and then you get 2 Medivac platforms, 1 to 2, and don't buy any gear because you don't need it at this point. Should you one base or two base? Well, if you one base, it's easier to defend, but you'll have less money for gear. And if you two base, you'll have to defend more. So you might need two outlaws, one to defend each base, especially on maps with contested expos. But you get more auto turrets and more gear, which can be really helpful later on. I tend to expand if I can because I prefer having more the early game. Tychus's role is to clear areas, clear any rifts near those areas, and kill attack waves. If the expo is a defended expo, contested expo, then he will be the one who kills them. Sirius will defend the base and clear any rifts that are near the base. So if it's a rock expo, he can be the one who clears it. You throw down a turret by the rocks or by the main if you want to go out to clear a nearby rift. So if you throw down a turret, you can kill any trickles and then you can go out and finish the rift off. These two roles are interchangeable, so sometimes you might want Sirius to go out and have Tychus stay behind. I think Tychus is better on the attack, but if you wish to switch them, that's fine. Here's an example. So early game, this is bad weather. You can see Tychus is here. He's going out clearing stuff. This is after the 520 spawn. So this rift has been around for some time. Sirius is staying behind to clear the attack wave at 5 minutes plus any trickles from this rift, which sometimes goes this way. This is Encroaching Madness. In the early game, you can see that at 7 minutes, Tychus has cleared this area. Sirius is getting ready to defend this area, and you see the rifts spawn here just in time. They each got 1. For Fear and Lava, Sirius is staying at home at around this time, and Tychus has gone out to clear an entire area already. For Fear and Lava, I played on one base because it's difficult to defend the center since I didn't want to fight enemies coming from different angles. For mass manufacturing, at this time, I had Tychus here. He's getting ready to clear the expo, and you can see Sirius, he's over here clearing stuff. If the 650 rifts spawn on this side, I would Medivac, because you see I have 1. I would Medivac Sirius, drop him here, and then go this way to clear the rifts. For Multitasking Trainer, I had Sirius here and Tychus here. So he's kind of like defending the natural. He can come back. This is just 2 seconds after the rifts spawn. Come back, throw the turrets and kill that. Tychus comes here and kills that one. And Tychus will continue going this way to clear the path to the next area, while Sirius kind of stays behind to defend the objective. For timely reinforcements, you can see Sirius, he's defending the ship, and Tychus, he went back this way to kill this one. I forgot what I did. I think I medevaced over here and then walked up to that way to kill that one. In the mid game, you want to expand before 8 minutes if you plan to do so. Sam comes out around 7 minutes, and he is a better investment than weapons upgrade. So you might be behind in weapons upgrades because you'll get those generally later than armor. Armor is just much better. Sirius defends the objective and chokes where the attack waves might come from. Tychus in the mid game wants to clear a path to the farther rifts if possible so that Sam can reach there. And then at around 12 to 12 minutes, Nux will come out and he will defend the main natural, and Sirius can head out and do more offensive stuff. So you can see in the mid game, this was bad weather, and you can see there are 7 rifts. The rifts spawn at 11:20, and I was not worried at all because I know that Tychus can handle a lot of rifts. Nux just came out. I think I got him a little late, but you can see Sirius is going to take care of this one. Sam will take care of this one, and then Tychus is focusing on this objective right here. And eventually, Sam will go this way to clear these. On Encroaching Madness, you can see that Nux has control of this area. Sirius has control of this area where the objective was. Tychus has died doing something, but he's going to spawn when I'm going to use him with the Odin to clear this area when the 1530 attack wave comes. And you can see that Sam is going this way to clear these two, which I had left alone probably for some time. So he's going to use the super cloak and then go this way. Lots of Medivac charges in case he doesn't get there. Notice that at around from 8 to 10 minutes, Sam was over here. Sam was over here around 8 to 10 minutes because the objective was over here. Sam is usually in a place that is like far away from where everyone else is, because he can reach the furthest places. For Fear and Lava, at around this time, Sam is taking care of the far stuff. Sirius is here because attack waves sometimes come this way. Nux is at home defending, and Tychus is going to push this way to clear the next area plus any enemies here because he focuses on the objective. For mass manufacturing, at this time you can see Nux is here. Sirius is defending the natural, and this one is close by, so he can come here and kill this one. Tychus is out doing the objective, so he's clearing this area. And Sam is, he reaches what others can't, so he will get these two. And since there are propagators, he and Sirius generally stay around the middle, because that's where the props head. For Multitasking Trainer, you can see that even at 10 minutes, I couldn't get this one because it's so far. But I used Tychus. His focus is to clear this whole path all the way here so that Sam can reach these later on. At this point, I only have 3 outlaws, so Sirius is here, one spawn really close, which is nice. And then he will just basically defend all the trickles that come this way. On Mal Warfare, this choke point is really important, so Sirius will stand here later on. And I think Sam is heading towards these closer ones right now. For timely reinforcements, you can see Tychus is at the objective, Sirius is at the natural, Nux is here, and then Sam gets all the far ones, like over here. Nux will take care of this entire zone. In the late game, Vega comes out after about 15 minutes, and Vega is not really important. You just defend an area that has been cleared or just stick around the main. Tychus continues to focus on clearing areas, Sirius focuses on the objective, and Nux and Sam have the same roles. The key is that each outlaw has control of an area. And in the late game, when you start to float minerals, you can just spread auto turrets around so that you can auto kill any rifts that spawn near them, which is nice. So you can see in the late game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sirius is here because the attack waves come this way. Sam is here because these are the far ones. And then Tychus, he was kind of moving around. I was kind of clearing this area so that if rifts spawn here, then I can get to those places easily. You can see these little turrets. So because there are turrets here, Nux can actually like stand here and clear stuff because any rifts that spawn right here will just get auto killed. For Encroaching Madness, we have 1 near the objective, 2 near another objective, 3 far rifts, 4 he gets this area, and Vega gets this area. For Fear and Lava, we have 1, so there's objective stuff here. 2, which is attack waves come from here. Sam is just kind of everywhere getting whatever's far. Nux takes control of this side. He just gets one zone, and Vega hangs around at home. And for mass manufacturing, we have 1 objective, 2 defending the natural against the objective. So here are props. Sam gets all the far rifts, and then we have Vega controlling this zone and Nux controlling this zone. This rift, I think I just left alone because it was towards the end. Multitasking Trainer, we have 1, Tychus is here focusing on the objective. 2, also helping with objective, whatever spawns here. Sam for far stuff, and then auto turrets here. You can see I started building the auto turrets, and then Nux gets this area and Vega gets this area. Timely reinforcements, you see here, because it's ME, there are a lot more stuff. And I used Blaze, which is rare, but because it's this map, I used Blaze. So 3 guys on the objective. Sam will take care of these far rifts, and then this closer one to the natural, Nux will take care of. In the end game, When you're about to finish the mission, you can just ignore the final Void Rifts and bring Sam or Nux to help. Only one of them. So you use Sam versus high HP targets and Nux versus escort waves. The other one can just stay behind and kill rifts. For Medivacs, you want to use the Medivacs to regen HP, and you want to use them for mobility. Ideally, when you use them for mobility, you get the bonus of regenning HP. For example, you can kill a rift, then lift, drop at your natural, and head towards another direction to kill another rift. Or you can bring an outlaw to help out where there are many rifts in one area and one outlaw can't handle them, especially if it's like Nux. So for example, for this one, 3 rifts spawn here. So I brought Sirius back to help clear. So Nux was shooting this one, and then I had vision, and then I brought Sirius back so that he can take care of the other 2. For Odin, use Odin the same way as you usually do, which is use the big red button to clear entire areas. He's just doing what Tychus already wants to do, which is clear the next area. And it's nice when you have Odin ready because you could play more aggressively, since if Tychus dies, you can instantly revive him with the Odin. Things to keep in mind is that when a set of rifts pops up, you send someone to each one, but don't panic if you leave one alone. It's fine if they send some stuff because Sirius can take care of them easily. You don't want to leave the objective alone because you don't want to lose the mission. And utilize Medivacs to cover unguarded zones. So you can consider leaving an idle SCV in an area just for vision, although the enemies from the rift might attack it. So you can kind of like hide an SCV in a space that's away from the path towards your base. This one I generally don't need to do, but this is always an option. To practice, you can try timely reinforcements or bad weather. These 2 are generally pretty easy. Void Rift mutations. The enemy AI doesn't matter too much if the mutators don't buff the enemy. And for starters, if you want to practice, go to the Maguro maps and choose any AI, but don't fight Classic Mech, Vanguard of Ire, Shadow Tech, or Disruptive Artillery because they tend to hit pretty hard. Alright, so good luck, and with a lot of practice, you can become an expert Void Rift sniper as well.